Hello everyone. I'm again here with you on discussion on the topic of grievances. So, do you came across the word anywhere? So, grievances. I'm going to discuss here the grievance concept, causes, managing grievance, and its a redressal process. That how to handle grievance. And if the grievance is not solved at an initial stage, then it will resulting into the industrial conflict which no industries want, and it is not good for the economy also. So, coming to the introduction portion of this grievances, that why we are focusing too much towards this topic, why the organization is talking about these terms, and what is the resultant consequences of this particular concept. So, because when we join the organization or when we work here any in the organization, we always have certain expectations which is associated with our job. Maybe it is personal also, maybe it is hypothetical also, but we everybody is having, being a human being, is it our tendency to have a certain expectations. So while working in the organization, we came across the actual challenges. We go to day-to-day activities, and if our expectations are not met, so we feel like that there is something not happening right, or we don't feel like motivated enough to work. So this is a concept which given the importance of understanding the grievance meaning. So when the organization, in any organization, suppose it is failed to understand that feeling of dissatisfaction or what the employee is undergoing during the joining of the job, because during the stage, initial stage, it happens because we need to adjust with the environment, which need to adjust in the organizational culture. So there may be some problem which is arising out of that. So when we talk about these problems, these expectations, these unfulfilled desires in the organization, which is not met, it is converted into grievances. So grievances are the concerns, problem or complaint. Somehow, when our concern is good, it can become into the problem, and somehow we raise our complaint regarding it. To whom? To the senior officials. To whom? To the staff members. And why we tell these things to the senior official? It is only to get it solved. So when it is not solved, it will result into the dispute. And dispute is never good for any industry, any organization, or as an economy as a whole. So in order to solve this problem, we are focusing undergoing this topic today, knowing as grievance and its redressal process. So coming to the definition of grievance. So grievance is a feeling of discontentment, or in a simple word, we can call it dissatisfaction. And this dissatisfaction is regarding the employment which the employee is undergoing. So, when an employee is having a complaint which is neglected, or when the employee is having that feeling which is not listened by the management, so that will have an impact on the overall working productivity, satisfaction level, motivation level of the employee. So, this need to be solved before converting into the major form of dispute. So, and the word rightly said, a very famous definition by the Professor Joseph is the grievance is considered as any discontentment or dissatisfaction. Please go through the definition very properly, because in the definition, every word is having a meaning. So, any discontent or dissatisfaction, which is whether expressed or not, whether valid or not, arising out of anything connected with the company which an employee thinks, believes, or even feels to be unfair, unjust, and inequitable. You might find this definition to be complicated, but when you go through the definition by the proper meaning, this is very easy to get it. So, it's a dissatisfaction, whether the employee is telling or not, whether maybe the dissatisfaction is not expressing it. This is in the heart. But no doubt, if you are not feeling satisfied at any place, that will result your performance. So, it is expressed or not, valid or not. Why we are talking about valid? Sometimes valid means a lot, because Suppose I am taking an example. If you are joining an organization and you got the late, your organization timing is 9 o'clock and you get there at 10 o'clock, then what will happen? Your half day salary will be deducted. So this is what? This is a valid, but you are finding that something wrong happened with you. Organization is not good. Organization at the initial days has deducted your salary for being 1 hour late. But the thing is, it is clearly mentioned that you need to report at that particular time. So it can be the may be valid or not. Then arising out of anything which is connected with the company and which an employee thinks, maybe he is thinking only, maybe he is believing or even feeling that something unfair is going on, unjust is going on, and you are not equally treated. So this is about the definition of grievance. Numbers of famous scholars and the researcher has given different approaches towards defining grievance. So, but in simple words, it's a complaint, it's a dissatisfaction, it's a discontent which is arising out of employment. So, nature of grievance, if we talk about the nature, when we are talking about nature, that means we are talking about the behavior of particular aspects. So, first of all, as per the definition, it is discontented, contentment or dissatisfaction, and which can be having various numbers of reasons. I told you that maybe it is expressed or not. So maybe it is in oral form or in written form or expressed or unexpressed. And grievance can be legal, illegal, illogical, acceptable, and unacceptable. So it can be at any form, but it results into frustration, dissatisfaction, unhappiness, and which is ultimately affecting your productivity, and you are not feeling satisfied in the job. So this can be individual also or in the group also. Now coming to the forms of grievance. When we talk about forms, there are three major forms which are visible in the organization. That can be factual, imaginary, and disguised. See, what is the meaning of this word? Factual. That means it is based on certain facts. And when we are talking about imaginary, that is out of your imagination. You are dissatisfied because of your imagination. Nobody told you that the things will go like this. And disguise is what? When you are dissatisfied, but you are not disclosing your reason of grievances. So, I have given the proper explanation of this. That factual means it is always legitimate. Again, I'm taking an example. Like every person mostly work for what? Money, salary. So you work for the organization and organization didn't given you salary after a specified period of time, maybe a month. So this is a fact because you are working there for salary. You joined the organization for salary, but you're not getting it, and your that feeling of not getting the salary is a fact coming under the factual grievance. Imaginary. Just taking a very simple example, like suppose the organization invited you for a party, maybe for a party, and what you thought that you are not going to have your lunch from the home because you are going in the party. The thing is, when you get into the party, there is a boring lecture going on, presentation, but nothing to eat. So this is what? This is your wrong attitude, your wrong perception. Nobody told you that you are going to get the lunch. You are just invited for the party. Party can be any form. Party can be also for the enjoyment. Not necessarily you must have the food. So it isn't because you perceive like that. You have an attitude regarding it. You have an information which is wrongly circulated. It can become converted into an imaginary grievance. Now coming to the disguised. Disguised is the most dangerous form because in this case, the person is not telling anyone that what is going on. And he is in the feeling of or she is in the feeling of hiding it. So in that case, he is considered as a lonely. He is lacking trust with the management. He is not talking to the authority. So this I considered in my view, it's a most dangerous form of grievance which need to be discovered and solved because ultimately it's impacting your personality. So these are some of the forms of grievances. So now coming to the examples, like what are the grievances is all about, or what the grievances the employees are dealing with. So main amenities. When we talk about the amenities, that are facilities which are provided by the organization by the employer to the employees. Another thing is compensation. Compensation is a money. What you are getting out when you are delivering for the organization. Condition of work, on under what condition you are working. Again, an example. If it is too hot, you are not having fans, you are not having AC, then you don't feel comfortable and you may be having that grievance feeling in your heart. Continuity of service, that means your service terms and conditions. Disciplinary actions, some organization are very harsh and some organization may be some lenient. Fines. Out of disciplinary actions, fines are also imposed. So some people feel, mostly in India, in the country like India, we are never going with the fines because monetary punishment is not considered as a good form. Leave, leave policies, like I applied for the leave and it is not get approved. So it resulted into deducting my salary, which will become an ultimately grievance because my money is deducted. Medical benefits, nature of job. When we are having very tough nature of job, when we are having some smooth nature of job, relax. So it means that that is also depending about the nature of job what we are dealing with. It is also kind of grievance. Payments. Payments, I told you that all the compensation, all the monetary benefits which you are getting out of your job. Promotions. Promotion is a very big reason why you are working in the organization from last 5 years, suppose, and you are not getting any promotion. Somebody newly joined the organization is promoted at a higher level in just with 1 year. So this will become a major form of grievance. Safety environment, which is a legal concern nowadays, it also become a problem creating grievances, superannuation, transfer, victimization. These are the certain forms of grievances which are coming across in the organization on a routine basis. So these are the forms. Now coming to the causes. What are the causes of grievance? So economic causes. We're dealing with the money, overtime, bonus, wage revision, wage fixation, all the things which is counted into monetary form. Work environment, I'm just telling about the work environment. What are the factors which are governing your job? Your physical conditions, your poor physical condition, tight production norms, defective tools and equipment, no safety measures, no proper rules, lack of recognition. These are the work environment factors which are resulting into grievance. Supervision, attitude of supervisor is very important factor. Like if your supervisor is not good enough, if you are not having good relationship with your supervisor, you are never going to feel satisfied in your job. Work group is we are talking about your peer group, your friends, your colleagues who are working with you. So you maybe you are not adjusted with them, you have a feeling of insecurity, you have a feeling of being neglected, and which it becomes a form of grievance. And there are numbers of other things which result into these things. So these are the descriptions. And now, so effects of grievance, when you are having grievance or when any of the employees having grievance, what are the effects? So first of all, your motivation level is low morale. And when you have low morale, then your commitment is never with the organization. You're not 100% committed to do the work. Loss of interest in work, you are not feel like doing anything, which will result into low productivity. And sometimes what happens, you are increasing the wastage cost because you don't feel like doing the work. You are not involved in the work. You are not committed towards your work. So sometimes it results into wasted productivity. You make excuses for getting absenteeism. You make unnecessary absenteeism because you don't feel like working it. Sometimes it can result into accidents also, industrial accident, which is a very big concern nowadays. High employee turnover, what happens? If the organization is any regular problem, so employees feel like leaving the organization. So high employee turnover is never good for any of the organization. Indiscipline among the employee, mostly what they after a certain extent, what the employee feel, that is indiscipline and employee unrest. That means employee is never proper in your organization. They never feel comfortable and happy in your organization. So these are the some of the proper effects of grievance which are visible. Now techniques. What are the group grievance identification techniques? This is a very simple thing because there are four techniques: observation, exit interview, right boxes, and open end policy. So what the technique is all about? Maybe these are the techniques which are most of the organization are using. First of all, observation. It is seriously said by observing anybody behavior, you came across how the person is feeling. how the person is doing. If somebody, you feel disappointed, disrejected, always unhappy, that means something bad going on. And we need to have a proper care of that person. Other is threat boxes. Have you seen suggestions box at your workplace, colleges, schools, which is installed in which anybody can write their concern and post it. And mostly what happens, the threat boxes will be opened in the front of management and the solution need to be given. Open door policy, you can meet your higher level whenever you feel like. There is an open door policy in every organization where you can go. You don't need any appointment. You have a particular, if you feel like you're having some problem, you can go and have appointment and go to contact your superior. Exit interview, this is a very famous technique nowadays. Most of the good organization is conducting. And what are they? That exit interview means when you feel like, when you feel you left the organization. So organization, after you clearing the dues, after all the formalities and paperwork is done, they are again calling you for interviews. And most probably the employee will not turning up back. So what that happening is they are arranging online interview on which they are asking the main reason that why you quit the job. So what is the asking of this reason? What is the meaning of asking? Only the motive is that they will look upon that matter and they try to rectify it. So these are the some of the techniques which is having, which is known for grievance identification. So this is with the topic of general basic of grievance. We will carry with the next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.